I've got one that can see.
Hey girls, how are those lights?
Great.
How's your snowman?
Good.
You're doing a great job. Okay, here we go.
Wow! Beautiful.
I like it.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Good job.
Thank you. Okay. Let's go inside.
When you get all your lighting and Christmas decorations at low Meyer prices, you can spread the spirit of the season a little further. And the further you spread the spirit, the better the holidays get.
All right, we've been saying the temperatures are dropping. That's not the only sign that the holiday season is officially underway. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, of course, arrived in the city early this morning. This is a 12-ton tree. It was driven down from Vestal, New York, near Binghamton. Yep. Steve's telling me. Okay, scaffolding surrounded the tree so that it could be decked out in 50,000 multicolored lights. And the tree lighting ceremony, of course, Wednesday, November 29th, one of the best events. Can't miss it.
Can't wait to see it.
Felix the cat was the very first character balloon in the parade in 1927. So for our 90th parade, we decided to bring him back in exactly the same way. He is the same scale, the same design, the same overall size as the balloon that was created in 1927.
Another penguin sighting. Check it out. Grotesque penguin man living in Gotham sewers. Read all about the latest sighting.
Can I have your attention, Gotham City? It is time for tonight's lighting of the tree. How about that?
Come on. Read about the possible terror beneath our feet. Check it out, people. Read about it. Today's issue. Read about the latest sighting of the penguin creature. Hey, missing link between man and bird.
My dear boy, sometimes it's a diversion to read such rubbish. Most of the time, it's a waste of time.
Whatever. Today's issue, the penguin. Check him out. Man or myth. The Globe right here. 25 cents.
But the question that we need to ask is this the birthday of Christ? Was Christ born on December 25th? And if not, whose birthday is it?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight.
Good evening, godless sodomites.
Reality television celebrates the human condition,
Warps the minds of our children and weakens the resolve of our allies.
Santa Claus, oh, anyone can play Santa. Christmas bread. I could be Santa Claus.
Although the jolly character of Santa Claus rose to fame in the late 18th century, he didn't make his big screen debut until more than 100 years later. In 1898, British director George Albert Smith cast Santa in a silent drama that kickstarted Claus's mysteriously endless career. Grainy and shaky footage shows a mother putting her 2 children to bed. Just moments later, the bearded man, presumed to be in red and white, slides right down the chimney before stuffing the children's stockings with goodies. The figure, also known as Saint Nick, bestows a blessing on the little sleepers, then, in a flash, he's gone. While this and many other feats continue to be topics of contention, they've only benefited Santa Claus's career.
Oh, cartons of camels are sure to please. Besides, they look so handsome under Christmas trees. So easy to give, so good to get. Give camels the nation's favorite cigarette. Ho, ho, ho! It's gift-packed, ready to give, with a space for your greeting.
Hey, Sheldon, are you and Leonard putting up a Christmas tree?
No, because we don't celebrate the ancient pagan festival of Saturnalia.
Saturnalia?
Gather round, kids. It's time for Sheldon's beloved Christmas special.
In that category.
By giving you a golden idol to worship. Kneel before your God, Babylon!
And with this ho, 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 I be going down the chimneys with his sack. And although my curls may be showing, I'll make sure they only see me from the back.
Because we don't celebrate the ancient pagan festival of Saturnalia.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
It was a Christmas filled with firsts as the royal family, led by King Charles, arrived at Sandringham this morning for church service. The Prince and Princess of Wales walking in with their 3 children, including Prince Louis, an experience he's never had until now. This is the first Christmas for the family and the kingdom without Queen Elizabeth. Absent today, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the couple sparking controversy with their recent Netflix documentary.
Doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
But tonight, all eyes were on King Charles and his first Christmas address to the nation.
I cannot thank you enough for the love and sympathy you have shown our whole family.
A speech recorded at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, close to where his mother, the late Queen, was laid to rest.
Christmas is a particularly poignant time for all of us who have lost loved ones.
King Charles acknowledging those struggling across the world.
Be it for those around the world facing conflict, famine, or natural disaster, or for those at home finding ways to pay their bills and keep their families fed and warm.
But the king offering optimism for better days ahead.
We can find hope for the future. Let us therefore celebrate it together and cherish it always.
Megan Fitzgerald, NBC News, London.
'Twas a long time ago, longer now than it seems, in a place that perhaps you've seen in your dreams. For the story that you are about to be told took place in the holiday worlds of old. Now, you've probably wondered where holidays come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun.
The deities Baal and Tammuz were worshipped by the ancient Moabites under the names Chemosh and Molech. We see that the names changed, but the worship remained identical. The ancient Moabites would celebrate a public child mass, a public child sacrifice during the winter solstice during December 25th. Building up to this most anticipated time of year, all the parents would compile long wish lists that they would like to see in the next year. Then they would bring the infants that were born within that year to the idol Chemosh or Molech.
Yes, anyone can be Santa, a tantalizing remark. Though his boots are not my size, with a twinkle in my eyes, I could be Santa Claus.
The priest of Chemosh or Molech would stoke large fires inside of the hollow metal idol of the deity. The parent would bring their child screaming to the lap of this deity and lay their child in the lap of Molech, who wore the Phrygian cap that we see that Santa Claus wears to this day, the same cap that Mithra wore, and they would lay their screaming child in the arm of this deity while they begin to profess their long list of desires for the year. Now today we don't see that people are sacrificing their children to Molech, but we do see that they bring their screaming infants, their screaming children, and lay them into the lap of a complete stranger dressed up like a mighty one who they call Santa Claus. And this child is usually screaming their guts out because they're so afraid of this man, and they probably sense the darkness and the demonic forces that are at work. Children, infants, hate Santa Claus, and the proof is in the pictures. Now, of course, after a few years, the child will begin to love Santa Claus and look at Santa Claus as an all-supreme, all-wise, all-knowing, giving deity of prosperity, just as the ancient Moabites looked at Molech and Chemosh.
With his reindeer and his sleigh, I'd be up, up and away. I could be Santa, I could be Santa, I could be Santa
Claus. He knows when you are sleeping, and he knows when you are awake. In fact, he is all-knowing. He is immortal. He has no beginning and no end. He compiles a list of names on a scroll for the good and the bad children. He rewards the good children with gifts, and he punishes the bad children with lumps of coal reminiscent of the flames of Molech. He answers their prayers and their petitions. He flies on a magical chariot, just like Mithra, Sol Invictus, and Odin before him. In fact, he is a deity of prosperity, worshipped by the people of the world. And it's amazing that Christian parents teach their children that gifts come from this magical, all-knowing being, making him a deity. And they will lie to their children and tell them that he exists. And while they're young, they will believe it with all of their heart until finally they are crushed under the realization that their parents had tricked them.
From your Cape Coral News team, this man has some parents very upset. He planted himself with a sign right in the middle of the Cape Coral Festival of Lights, then screamed, "Santa isn't real." NBC2's Joanna Boris talked to parents about the video, which is gaining a lot of attention.
The presents are out, the giant tree is lit. The holidays are a time of year for people to come together and be lighthearted. But one man wasn't feeling very festive and made it his mission to ruin everyone else's spirit.
Attention, everyone. Santa has an announcement to make.
For the good of Christmas, for the good of my family, I, Santa Claus, have decided to retire. We have a grief counselor, right? You're interviewing to become Santa Claus.
Yes. Can't wait to rub this in Brady's face.
All I do is
Give us your best ho, ho, ho.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Ho, ho, homaha! Homaha! You see that? I called a little audible there.
Anyhow, thanks so much.
I sing, by the way.
No, Brady can sing.
slay all day, slaying anything and anyone that's in my way. You just good, but I'm so cool.
That's me.
All I do is slay.
And I feel sorry for that individual. He must have a very sad life.
A man with a giant sign screaming that Santa isn't real while kids waited in line to see him.
I think it's a shame our children are faced with so many difficult things in this world that the magic of this time of year, it's taken away from them and they're innocent.
Parents say it's heartbreaking. The man would stand there for hours just to hurt little kids.
He's saying there's no Santa screaming it, actually.
One mom tells me some kids were in tears. Luckily, her child was too young and distracted by the fun.
There's no sense of decency with those kind of individuals.
Cape Coral police tell me they were at the event but couldn't do anything because this display is considered freedom of speech.
I mean, it's for the kids, and you kind of should leave that those adult opinions out of this kind of an atmosphere.
The only way CCPD says it could intervene is if he was using a voice enhancer like a megaphone or creating a riot, which they say he wasn't.
I think, unfortunately, you're going to have people who just want to spoil it for everyone.
Some people tell me they feel sorry for the Grinch, but aren't going to let him ruin their festive holiday spirit.
With his reindeer and his sleigh, I'd be up, up and away. I could be Santa, I could be Santa, I could be Santa
Claus. Just want to say, well, early Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you saw all our military families. It was so nice of them to join us today, all the children. And the tree, which is magnificent, is from the Klein Church Nursery. And some of the kids said that they had never seen a tree so big. So I hope you'll all come back during the holidays with your families and join us and come see the tree when it's decorated. So thank you. Thanks for being here. Happy holidays.
Louis? My tree.
So what's the matter with you?
Look what you've done to my tree! Louis?
It is an ugly tree anyway.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right.
Attaboy, Clarence.
And now they will question everything that their parents will ever teach them about the scriptures because of this innocent white lie, as they say. Santa and his elves have a very dark past. Santa is identified as an elf in most of the world. The Celts believed that the elves were witches and wizards, and they were identified by their pointy or Phrygian caps. And they were the teachers of the dark arts. Webster's dictionary describes an elf as a wandering spirit, a fairy, a hobgoblin, an imaginary being which our rude ancestors supposed to inhabit unfrequented places and in various ways to affect mankind. Also, an evil spirit or a devil.
Because we don't celebrate the ancient pagan festival of Saturnalia.
Jesus, on the other hand, was actually born in the summer. His birthday was moved to coincide with the traditional pagan holiday that celebrated the winter solstice.
Now, part of the practice of Christmas is, from the old country, the person known as the Holly King. From the Holly King, you get who's known as Santa Claus.
I honestly wasn't expecting to make a video about the myth of Santa Claus and its reinforcement of Christian belief and capitalist ideology.
Each according to his ability, to each according to his means.
That was until I stumbled upon Leland Nally's examination of thousands of letters to Santa, written by children whose lives have been upended during the COVID pandemic. In these letters, we find an uncanny juxtaposition between unreflective, childlike desire and a sobering concern for life and death. The incongruence only adds to the tragedy. Take this letter from 7-year-old Caleb. Dear Santa, can you pray for my Nana? She has corona. I hope she will be better by Christmas. Can you bring her a warm blanket to make her feel better? I would like a Power Rangers Beast Morpher Beast X Morpher and a Power Rangers Beast Morphers Beast X King Mega Bone Nerf toy. Love, Caleb. I don't think I need to tell you there's a lot to unpack here, but let's try anyway. First is the odd idea that Santa is able to perfectly recreate something so overburdened with branded sheen as the Power Rangers Beast Morphers Beast X King Mega Bow toy Nerf dart firing action inspired TV series for boys 8 and up. A child's Christmas list is an invaluable window into what it looks like when a developing brain encounters commodity fetishism for the first time. The object of desire is so holy, so pristine, that its entire branded designation must be invoked, lest any half-aware adult mishear and purchase the wrong model.
No, I want an official red undercover nice and 200 jet range by laser rifle.
Now, Santa Claus is an interesting study because, you know, when we go through the story of Santa Claus is actually supposed to be all-knowing. I mean, think about this. Doesn't Santa Claus know who's been good and who's been nice every single day of the year? That's one of Santa Claus's ability. He knows exactly who's been good and who's been nice, and he knows how this has worked for each individual throughout the year. Has the ability of being omnipresent, or just about, because on the night of Christmas, is he not able to traverse the entire world and literally just about be everywhere at the same time and drop off who knows how many billions of presents? Well, at least that's what the story tells us.
Santa can't wait all night. Let's go. Come on up on Santa's lap. Ho, ho, ho.
Get moving, kid. Quit dragging your feet.
Come up. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Up. Ho, ho, ho. Uh-oh. Get him out of here.
This has been the case at least since the invention of catalogs, but today it acquires its most abstract form. Take, for instance, this child's wish, a string of random letters and integers. Not just a product, but its specific hypertextual code. Here, one is no longer able to imagine Santa's elves painstakingly fashioning exact replicas of Legos or action figures. Rather, Santa is reduced to a glorified Amazon delivery drone. But alongside Caleb's materialistic needs is an immaterial plea, a prayer for his Nana. This was a theme oft repeated in 2020's Christmas letters. Children asked for presents just as often as they professed to forgo them, negotiating with Santa to secure relief for their families. They asked for school to start again, for their parents to find employment, for money to pay rent, and for a cure to COVID-19.
H.P. Blavatsky states that elves are disembodied spirits used in magic and sorcery and are the principal agents in seances.
The elf on the shelf, where can you be? I pop out of bed each morning to see you watch as I try to do as I should. At night you tell Santa the news is all good. Families together, the magic and joy. Christmas is special for each girl and boy. The elf on the shelf, the elf on the shelf.
The Elf on the Shelf, a Christmas tradition book, includes Santa's Scout Elf.
In places like Austria, Hungary, Germany, Italy, and elsewhere, Santa Claus is identified by his original name, which is Sinterklaas. And there are variations of Sinterklaas throughout Europe. Some variations have Sinterklaas riding on a magical flying goat. Other versions have him riding on a magical flying white horse. Either way, he is always accompanied by dark helpers. Usually they are referred to as the Krampus. And the Krampus is a half goat, half man demon that goes with Sinterklaas from house to house. In the 1500s, Sinterklaas became a kind old man who gave gifts and flew on his magical chariot and was accompanied by these dark helpers or blackjacks. He was Christianized as a saint by the name of Nicholas, supposedly based on the saint of Myra in Turkey, who was legendary. He would leave gifts under the sacred tree on his birthday if you had been good, but if you had not, his demons, his Krampuses, would either abduct you or beat you with sticks. Saint Nicholas supposedly captured Satan and called him by various names: the Krampus, Baalzebub, Zwartdeit, or the Black Peter, and Neck Ruprecht. And these were just some of the names. In some of the cultures, Sinterklaas was dropped altogether, and the only remaining figure was the Krampus, which was kept and known as Weihnachtsmann, which means Santa Claus in the Germanic languages. In other words, in some cultures, Santa Claus is known to be Satan himself, who is the Krampus.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling.
Merry Christmas!
Looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here.
This is delicious, honey.
It's a little dry.
Well, mine's delicious.
Mine's dry.
Do you want to trade?
It's
Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
With those holiday greetings
How we were going to survive Christmas with 12 people stuck in a house with no heat and no electricity.
Or food.
There's plenty of leftovers, Howard.
Beer it is. That's the weirdest thing. There's no cars, no people.
How long can this keep up?
We heard something on the roof.
The hell's this?
Saint Nicholas is not coming this year.
Instead, a much darker, ancient spirit.
Those are hooves. Elk or a goat? What kind of goat walks on its hind legs?
His name is Krampus. He and his helpers did not come to give, but to take.
Come on, kid.
Ho, ho, ho!
Come on.
Come on up there. Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho! And what's your name, little boy?
Hey, kid! Hurry up, the store's closing.
Come on. Listen, little boy, we've got a lot of people waiting here, so get going.
What do you want for Christmas, little boy?
My mind had gone blank. Frantically, I tried to remember what it was I wanted. I was blowing it.
Come on, kid. How about a nice football?
Football? What's a football? Without conscious will, my voice squeaked out.
Football. Okay, get him out of here.
A football? Oh no!
Okay,
What was I doing? Wake up, stupid! Wake up! No!
No, I want an officer red undercover knife to 200 with my rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
You think Christmas, you think Santa. And if you think Santa, why wouldn't you think of a bunch of guys who dress up as Satan and try to hit you with a chain? Welcome to Amazing Austria and our first topic, Krampus. Here in Austria, Santa Claus is called Nikolaus and comes pre-Christmas on December 6th. And he doesn't care if you've been naughty or not, because he has a helper who deals with all the kids who did not behave. His name is Krampus, and he's basically the devil. Krampus shows up all over Austria on the eve of St. Nikolaus Day. He's often accompanied by Santa and some angels, and you will most likely meet him on events called Krampuslauf, where the whole village gathers around to meet the not quite friendly Christmas demon. Also, in some areas, he and Nikolaus go from door to door, so there is no point in hiding. If you've been talking back to your parents or not doing your chores, he will find you. Depending on the region, Krampus either carries a birch or a metal chain. And yes, he is going to use it. But still, Austrians love their Krampus. Therefore, you will find a selection of chocolate Krampuses in every supermarket in late November and early December. No Nikolaussackerl, the gift bag St. Nikolaus hands out, is complete without Krampus. And even if chocolate Nikolaus and chocolate Krampus are manufactured by the same company, there is no doubt that Krampus tastes a tiny bit better. There is also another Austrian tradition that is rooted in pagan customs called Schierperchten. Because why just have one diabolic figure to scare your children if you can have two?
Favorite things about Christmas?
Snowman?
Ice skating.
Decorating the tree. Presents. Snowballs.
Nailed it. Elsa, your turn.
Oh, my favorite thing about Christmas is... Wow! A special meal that we share together.
Oh, I thought it might be salad plates. 3 words, perfect Christmas dinner.
For the first time in forever.
Discover the magic of Frozen at Iceland.
Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Throw the ancient Yuletide carol.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Let it go? No.
What is this?
Oh dear, do you not have Christmas in the future? Is that my fault as well?
No, tacky consumerism still exists. What's this for?
For you, of course. A daddy do-over, if you will. Now, we both know I've got a lot to make up for, so thought I'd start with a Christmas present for every year that I've missed. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Ta-da! It's for your first Christmas, obviously. Now, I'm told the box is much more fun to play with at that age, so we could make a spaceship or a castle, yeah? Strip club. Why don't we see what else there is? Oh. Merry Christmas. Yeah, and one for me. I'll go long. Right, ready? Very good. Right, give us your best. Come on. Bloody hell. Huh? Oh.
Cool. Now I don't have to ride the big yellow bus to school anymore.
Right. Point taken. You are an adult angel person. I suppose something a bit more grown up would be appropriate.
Lucifer's true identity as Satan is revealed as the anagram, a transposition of letters to obscure it. Blinds, as esoterics call them, include scrambling the letters of a name to hide the true meaning of a word from the uninitiated. And if you, in case you're not aware, the uninitiated means the ones who are not illuminated, the average general public who has no clue as to what is really going on here. It's interesting that Mrs. Ripplinger also raises a red flag about the anagram Santa. Gods of the New Age include Sanatan, and whatever that says. New Agers may, say each name is concealed anagrammatically and are aliases, and are an anagram used for occult purposes. Is Santa, the great usurper of Christ's attention at Christmas, an anagram? Old Nick is listed among the fallen angels or devils in the Dictionary of Fallen Angels. Scholars concur that Christ was born in the fall of the 4th day of the Feast of Tabernacles. December 25th is actually the feast in honor of the birth of the son of the Babylonian Queen of Heaven, later called Saturna by the heathen Romans, or Saturnalia. Okay, so the Feast of Tabernacles is somewhere usually around, September, October. So you can see, when the true date of Christ's birth was. Nothing to do with December 25th. It's actually a Roman pagan, / Babylonian festivity known as Saturnalia, which is all out debauchery that takes place in that time. It is also worth noting Santa is Spanish for holy. Santa is also from the Latin word sanctus, which means also saintly, holy. Our English words saint, sanctify, come from Santa. Sounds like Satan's "I will be like the Most High" plan is in action. Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. That's from Psalm 99, verse 3. God's name is called holy over 40 times in the King James Bible. Holy Claus? The name Santa Claus is also derived from the Dutch Sinterklaas, which was also a form of Saint Nicholas. So what about Claus, as his last name? Is Claus another anagram for Lucas? It's no secret Lucas and Lucius are New Age code words for Lucifer. The Alice Bailey founded New Age occult publishing company was originally called Lucifer Publishing Company, but in 1924 the name was cleverly changed to Lucis Trust. By the way, the Lucifer-worshipping Lucis Trust is a major player in the works of the United Nations, formerly located in the United Nations building, but now located on prime time 1200 Wall Street. You know, for any of you out there who don't believe that the United Nations is evil, well, this, is one confirmation that it is. All right?
So let me read something Blavatsky wrote. Quote, "It is Satan who is the god of our planet and the only god, and this without any elusive metaphor to its wickedness and depravity." Do you know what this really means, and do you think Bailey was so inspired by this sentiment that she named what has now been renamed or rebranded as the Lucis Trust, the Lucifer Publishing Company, back in the 1920s?
If I understand the statement of Blavatsky about Satan, that's another term for Saturn, which is one of the planets. In the study of esoteric astrology, there are, I believe, 7 sacred planets. Saturn is the planet that is connected with the distribution or the working out of karma, the law of karma, which is really just another term for the law of cause and effect. It's utterly benign in its ultimate working out, even though karma can be painful to the individual undergoing the process. And that's why Blavatsky said Satan or Saturn is, well, how did you put it?
It is Satan who is the god of our planet and the only god, and this without any elusive metaphor to its wickedness and depravity.
Well, if I understand her language, without any elusive metaphor to its wickedness and depravity, she's saying it's not necessarily associated with wickedness and depravity as we normally think of Satan, the devil. Saturn is the planet of karma, which is the great law of equilibrium, the restoration of harmony and balance. That's another way to look at cause and effect. It's the restoration of equilibrium, which can only be good. Now, the reference to Lucifer comes from Blavatsky's description of Lucifer in the accurate sense of the term, which is of Latin origin. It means literally light bearer, and it refers to a very obscure principle in the ageless wisdom, which is that the solar angels, the governing lords of the world, descended to our planet eons ago, bringing the principle of mind to what was then in those ancient times essentially animal man. Human beings with no mentality at all, no soul, just virtually living the existence of an animal.
We begin with what's now become a time-honored Thanksgiving tradition, Black Friday, and the chaotic frenzy that comes with it. Crowds inside this Walmart in Houston, Texas, literally throwing themselves on top of discounted TVs, and police officers having to step in to break up the brawl. And on your mark, this shot says it all. A sea of humanity outside Macy's flagship store here in New York, counting down the minutes till the doors opened. And when they did, these scenes played out across the country as shoppers lined up for deals.
An electronics frenzy in Indiana, too. This man wearing a football jersey emerging from the pack, clutching his prize. We met Marcel Prather outside this Washington, D.C. Best Buy. Someone's paying him $30 an hour to wait in line to buy a TV, soon grabbing this $1,400 Samsung model for just $900.
My client will be happy we saved hundreds of dollars.
6 in 10 of us, 140 million Americans, expected to shop at some point this weekend.
Televisions have been really hot, phones have been really hot, computers and tablets. It's really, we have great deals throughout the whole store this year.
Exciting start to the holiday season. We saw record online sales.
At one point, Target was selling nearly 1,800 TVs every minute.
And at that same time, they were selling 2,000 video games every minute.
In the 1970s, the Second Vatican Council stated that no Roman Catholic bishop by the name of St. Nicholas ever existed. This is historical because people will often say, well, St. Nicholas was a real person. But the Second Vatican Council states no such person ever existed. They go on to state that the legends attributed to Saint Nicholas had no Christian origin and probably came from pagan traditions. So therefore, the character known as Saint Nicholas is a myth. He is nothing more than a pagan deity who has been revamped and Christianized, just like Christianity has Christianized Christmas. The Oxford English Dictionary states the devil is called Satan, Lucifer, Beelzebub, and even in popular rustic speech, he is called Old Nick.
Flammas eius, Lucifer matutinus inveniat. Ive inquam Lucifer qui nescito casum.
Way up north where the air gets cold, there's a tale about Christmas that you've all been told. And a real famous cat all dressed up in red, and he spends the whole year working out in his sled. It's the little Saint Nick, little Saint Nick. It's the little Saint Nick, little Saint Nick.
The Concise Dictionary of English Etymology also agrees that Nick is the devil. Old Nick was a well-known British name for Satan. The Greek name Nicholas means the conqueror of the people. Revelation chapter 2 verse 15 reads, "So you also have those who adhere to the teaching of the Nicolaitans or the Nicolaitans, which teaching I hate." The teaching of the Nicolaitans came from their teacher Nicholas, who taught them that it was okay to eat food sacrificed to idols and to commit whoring, to make the children of Israel stumble. This is most likely the origin of the saint called Nicholas of the Roman Catholic Church. In the 1600s, a series of plays were developed starring a character known as Robin Goodfellow, who was a half-man, half-goat demon. In The History of a Hobgoblin, author Alan W. Wright reveals that Robin itself was a medieval name for the devil, and that Robin's trademark laugh was ho, ho, ho. During the 1600s, this goat-headed devil had already revealed the trademark laugh that Santa Claus would later take on.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Ho, ho, ho.
In Scandinavia, the winter festival was Yule. In the Chaldean language, Yule means the infant, the child, referring to the baby Tammuz. Apparently, the Scandinavians borrowed the term for their winter festival. On December 21st, Odin, who was the chief deity, would fly through the night on his 8-legged horse, which would symbolize the 8 reindeer of Santa Claus. Odin was represented as an ancient man with a long white beard. His idols portray him with a pointy hat, like the elves and Santa Claus wear. People feared the wrath of Odin, who had come to take the spirits of the dead. They would leave treats and grain offerings for Odin and his horse. Spirits would roam freely during this time of the year, and the worshippers would try to communicate with these spirits. Evergreen trees would be brought inside to represent eternal life and the conquering of death of the sun deity. Mistletoe was revered by the Druids. Mistletoe has no roots in the ground, therefore it is seen as a gift from the heavens. On the 6th day of the moon, the Druids would cut the sacred mistletoe with a golden sickle, which was caught with sheets by priests beneath and not to be touched with human hands. Germanics believed that all who passed beneath a mistletoe were kissed by Freya, the goddess of fertility, and were blessed with sexual powers. During this time of the year, it is believed that the horned deity, the stag deity, would return to the earth, who is symbolized as Pan in the ancient Greco-Roman pantheon.
Hi everyone, for lack of knowledge. And today I wanted to talk to everybody about Valentine's Day. Now, Valentine's Day is a very popular holiday that has made its way around the entire world. On every single continent, you can find multiple countries and people that celebrate this as the supposed day of love. But upon deeper inspection of the Valentine's Day holiday, you find some very interesting things. Now, in looking into some of this stuff, I know you may get to the point like me that you're like, man, is it everything? Does Satan have to have his hand in every single thing that we do? But thinking about it a little deeper, it's really natural and understandable. We gave a degree of our dominion of this earth over to the serpent when we obeyed him instead of God. We can't forget that God gave us dominion over the earth. He brought all the animals before Adam, and Adam named all of them, and we were the caretakers of the garden, and all of God's creation he put under mankind. But we were duped into giving a degree of this authority to the enemy when we obeyed him instead of our creator. This is also represented later in scripture in other places. One in particular is when Satan took Jesus up into a high place when he tempted him. And he said that if you would just bow down and worship me, I'll give you dominion over all the kingdoms of the earth. It's noteworthy that Jesus did not call him a liar, because Jesus fully understood that he had sway over all the kingdoms of the earth. So it's understandable that Satan is the lowercase g God of this earth. And so looking at it from these spiritual eyes and from that perspective, we see why so many things in our world stem back to giving some type of honor to the enemy.
Witches, warlocks, congratulations! You have been matched. Tonight you and your paramour shall go to the woods and reenact the courting. Now what that means is that each couple shall go into the woods and disrobe and anoint themselves and lie under this blessed Lupercalian moon, absorbing the potency of the goddess Selene herself. Abstinence is encouraged in anticipation of the powerful release that concludes Lupercalia. However, should couples be moved to unite, well, I'm sure the Dark Lord would not oppose.
The milk and blood are for the purification. The oysters and figs are for fertility and virility. The cherries are for popping.
A word or two of caution. Each couple must stay together the entire night, and above all, do not stray from the path. All manner of lust-filled creatures stalk the woods during the Lupercalia. Now, with the Dark Lord's blessing, let the courting begin.
Now, when you look at Valentine's Day a little deeper, you see that it is based off of something called the Eve of Lupercalia. Now, the Eve of Lupercalia was an ancient festival giving honor to the god of fertility. But Eve of Lupercalia was changed by Pope Gelasius I into a Christian festival and celebration, and he declared February 14th to be St. Valentine's Day. Now, going back to Lupercus, he was the Roman god of fertility, and the festival that they had in the day for him was a festival in celebration of the anniversary of the founding of his temple, which was on February the 15th. This is worth noting because Lupercus is also known as Faunus, and this is the Roman equivalent of the Greek god Pan. Now, this is a little more familiar, and many of you may have heard of Pan before, but Pan is the Greek god of erotic sexuality, and he is a master of music to a degree because he used his little flute to seduce other spirits and women and things of that nature.
December 497 BCE, the Saturnalia festival was celebrated for the first time in ancient Rome. Created to mark the anniversary of the foundation of the Temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum, the Roman festival of Saturnalia was dedicated to the god Saturn, who was believed to have ruled over a golden age of agricultural abundance. The festival saw the suspension of the usual social norms, and the people of Rome engaged in lively celebrations. Saturnalia originated as a 3-day festival that began when the wool that was normally bound around the
Step in, step this way if you please. The most charming figure in the old Greek polytheistic mythology is Pan, the god of joy, combining the forms of man and goat.
It's a fake.
Oh.
It's gotta be.
But this Greek god Pan is half goat and half man. He is the old school archetype for what the Baphomet is based off of now. And we know the Baphomet is just the modern day image of Satan.
In Scandinavia today, the Santa is still a goblin, and this is seen as the dark time of the year. To celebrate Yule, one must deck the halls with boughs of holly and bring evergreens into the home. And they had to bring a large log into the home that they would burn for 12 days. This is where the 12 days of Christmas comes from. It had to be kindled with a piece of the log that came from the year before. And this was to keep the ancestral spirits happy, who were believed to live within the fire. Therefore, the fire was kept burning with offerings of food and sacrifice. Originally, the sacrifice was made of humans and animals. The World Book Encyclopedia states the belief that Santa comes down through the chimney developed from an old Norse legend. The Norse believed that the goddess Hertha appeared in the fireplace and brought good luck to the home. It continues that Druids worshipped a deity named Hertha. Druid homeowners would leave a treat consisting of milk and pastries to appease this deity that came down into their chimney, into their fireplace.
Dad insisted on playing the role, but now the kids are scarred 'cause he's stuck in the chimney hole. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
This is the pagan Canaanite idol god Moloch. Now it is part of an exhibition and it is being displayed at the entrance of the Colosseum in Rome. Now this exhibition is expected to run until March 29, 2020. Now this ancient god Moloch requires child blood sacrifice. Right? It requires the blood of our children. And if you go to the Bible in Leviticus 18:21, it gives an account of this. Now also it is alleged that the approval came from the Vatican for this Canaanite idol to be put on display in Rome. Now we are getting somewhere. The Vatican allegedly approve a god that requires a child sacrifice. Let that sink in. Now we see where we are going. These people are grooming you to accept, right? To accept these ancient God and these ancient practices. They are trying to bring back the old ways. They are trying to bring back the old gods, and they are making sure that you are well groomed to do the things that they used to do. That is what is happening right here. So pedophilia was rampant, so they are making certain that you are well groomed into accepting the fact that you can hand over your child to a pervert to have relation with, because they're working on it. Now they're working on the fact that you should hand over your children willingly, right, for child blood sacrifice. How cruel can you get?
Well, we are out here at the South Plains Mall, and I am here with Ashley again. We are talking about breakfast with Santa, because Santa is in town. He's here actually right behind us. So how has it been so far with Santa here?
He is having so much fun visiting with everyone. We had families out all weekend long, and what a great time, because they were able to come with their whole family, right? Exactly. Everyone gets to experience that magic. Yes. And I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. That is what the season's about.
And it's not just for the kids, you know, you want everyone to come and take their picture with Santa. And the nice thing about it is what you guys say when you do come and see Santa, so you don't have to buy the photos, you can just come and enjoy the experience.
Absolutely. Santa wants to see everyone, whether you are here to share your wish list and have that experience and get a photo package, or you just want to come in and share your wishes. Santa wants to see everyone.
Yes.
The Planned Parenthood organization in Indiana has triggered a firestorm with an unusual holiday time promotion. Planned Parenthood clinics in Indiana have started selling gift certificates in $25 increments, good for any of their services, including abortion. A gift certificate for an abortion? The organization says the certificates are for access to health care. But Gigi Stone reports abortion rights opponents are outraged.
It is an unusual stocking stuffer.
How cruel can you get? And this Moloch statue is affiliated allegedly with the Vatican, and that is not a good affiliation you want as a religious organization of that magnitude. It says a lot about them and what they stand for. If you're going to have an exhibition about Rome's history and about ancient civilization, you could have put a small statue in a museum for people to visit. Why put a life-size statue at the entrance of the Colosseum where thousands of Christians lost their life? Why would you do that? Now you see what these people stand for. They know that they're opening the portal and these ancient gods are coming out. So they are grooming you to accept them and to fall in line. They are grooming you to do these abominations. things that will sin against the Most High they are grooming you to do. But if you are not awake to the devil's devices, you will get caught out there.
This is the ultimate goal of the mystery schools. So what you're seeing here is a masquerade as Christianity. And that obelisk represents the phallic with the circumcision of ancient Egypt. The false circumcision, the synagogue of Satan. Technically those who say they are Christians but do lie. Because this is all part of the ancient mystery schools of Babylon. It goes back to Babylon and Egypt. What does the Bible tell us about those? I'm sorry to say, but there's really nothing else to it. This whole place is a giant keyhole. Freemasonry, Illuminati, Enlightenment, all of that. Essentially Gnostic religion, which is, and Babylon, which is clearly against God, clearly against Christ, Antichrist. This is the fundamental truth to what all of this is representing and leading towards.
Ka! It's you!
Yes, man cub. So nice to see you again.
Oh, go away. Leave me alone.
Let me look at you. You don't want me to look at you? Then you look at me.
No, sir. I know what you're trying to do, Ka.
You do? I mean, you don't trust me.
No.
Then there's nothing I can do to help.
You want to help me?
Certainly.
Okay. So let's dedicate this to General Kelly, the Border Patrol, and the ICE agents for doing such an incredible job. Right? This was written by Al Wilson a long time ago. And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have to very, very carefully vet. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. So here it is, the snake. It's called The Snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. The border. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. Does that explain it, folks? Does that explain it?
Trust in me.
Hello, Beast.
Who's this?
This is my dear friend Martha. This is Alistair Crowley. How do you do?
Eat, drink, be happy.
What, dancing, Martha? Not my thing.
What is your thing? Oh, everyone has a thing. My thing is love.
That's not very satanic.
On the contrary, Satan is love. In your heart, you worship Satan just as I do. Every beautiful woman does.
Season finale
6-5. Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna go 6-6-8.
Closed captioning is remarked by the following.
Pfizer. CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer.
All right, Crowley. Let's not waste our breath on formalities.
I want
such a lovely boy. What do you want, Crowley?
I want your soul, of course. That is, my master wants it.
Do it yours. Give me my sister.
You're a businessman, Mr. Wayne. You know that saying something doesn't make it so. I'll need a contract. Inked in your blood.
Oh, please spare me this spillage. I don't believe in Satan.
Oh, you're modern, rational, well-educated, a civilized man of peace and moderation. Of course you don't believe in Satan, but that doesn't matter. Satan believes in you.
Cutie.
It's you he wants. Your spiritual essence, not your company.
Alistair is just a very wise and loving man. A teacher.
In exchange for my sister's liberty, I have to sell... I have to sell my soul to the devil.
Precisely. You get my master's eternal friendship.
You're a smart businessman, Mr. Wayne. Think of that. Think of the power you'll have. I have power now, you fool. I could buy and sell the likes of you.
See now, there's the beast inside of you.
Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop! Let me out! Let me out!
Be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything, to stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions, with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert, and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people.